Hello, my name is Lydia Broderick, and I work with Upland Planning and Design Studio, and we are working with the town of Pictou and the municipality of Pictou County on Active Steps, which is a project to develop an active transportation plan for the town of Pictou and the municipality of Pictou County. And today we are providing a presentation on the draft plan. So please note it's capital D, bolded draft. And this is an excellent opportunity to learn more about it and what it includes and how to provide your feedback because we want to ensure that the final plan aligns with your vision for the future of active transportation in your community. So today's presentation, it's going to be quite a high level overview of the draft plan, just for, timing. But there will be an opportunity at the end to have a discussion and ask questions and also learn about other ways to, be able to continue the conversation and provide additional feedback. So, in an effort to make things a little bit more consistent, we've aligned the contents of this presentation with the contents that you will find in the draft plan. So, we'll start off with a bit of a background and introduction to, what active transportation is and about this project more generally. Then we'll move into the community vision, which, is the heart of this project, and it played a key role in informing the draft plan. Then we'll discuss the draft design guidelines, the draft active transportation network, and the education and programming based recommendations as well. And finally, we'll chat a little bit about how to share your thoughts on what is what is currently in the draft plan. And then, of course, as mentioned before, there are opportunities to discuss everything further. So starting off, introduction. What is active transportation? It's a broad term that refers to all modes of human-powered transportation, including, but not limited to, walking and rolling. So that would be referring to the use of assistive devices such as wheelchairs, cycling, rollerblading, and skateboarding. Seasonal activities such as, kayaking, canoeing, or stand-up paddleboarding, and things like skiing, snowshoeing, and kick sledding, as well as some motorized forms of transportation like e-bikes and electric wheelchairs. There are a number of benefits for why it's important to increase access to active transportation opportunities, including, but not limited to, improving the mental, physical, and social health of users through increased daily movement and social connection, attracting visitors and boosting local businesses through increased foot traffic, lowering carbon emissions and environmental impact while fostering a connection to nature, promoting equity by improving travel options and access to public spaces. So I will just note there that, active transportation for some, it may be a choice. For others, it's perhaps the only option. Not everyone has access to a vehicle or is able to drive a vehicle, or there may be other barriers to, current transportation options. So by improving access to active transportation and services and opportunities through active modes, it's just increasing overall transportation and mobility options more generally. So it's important to be able to, as community members, to be able to access, assets in the community. So that's a really key thing that I just wanted to highlight there. And then finally, building safer, more connected and vibrant communities where everyone can thrive. So in a nutshell, this project aims to enhance the movement of both residents and visitors throughout the region, fostering a healthier and more sustainable community where active transportation is not only safe and practical, but also an enjoyable experience for all. So we want it to be, desirable and to be fun. And this plan focuses on improving active transportation conditions in the town of Pictou and the municipality of Pictou County over the next 10 years. This is just a map of the project scope, so the project study area. So displays there the town of Pictou, and then also and where that is located within the municipality, and so as well as the municipality of Pictou County. And you will see later on, or you may have seen already in the draft plan, that the active transportation network has been developed as a regional network looking at, the municipality of Pictou County, but then also the town of Pictou as a more of a local network. So community vision, as mentioned before, is absolutely key. Um, the and the final plan must align. Like this is your plan, so we want to ensure that it aligns with your vision for the future of active transportation in the study area. So this is again a draft vision, and it was informed by the initial engagement phase that took place last late spring into the summer of 2024. And currently it states that in the town of Pictou and the municipality of Pictou County, active transportation is safe, convenient, and a fun part of everyday life for residents and visitors of all ages and abilities. Active transportation supports wellness and fosters a meaningful connection to the community and its lands and waters. And it was informed by these guiding principles. So these were some key themes that came up frequently across the formative engagement period. So safety, that came up time and time again. It seemed to be a priority for almost every engagement participant. Address key infrastructure gaps, plan for connectivity, and that's looking, within neighborhoods, but also regionally as well. So from community to community, not just within communities. Ensuring access for all ages and abilities. And it was mentioned that it's important that an accessibility lens or an access and inclusion lens isn't only applied to, the final phase of a project, but, through the entire planning process during construction as well. So thinking about all users, thinking about all community members and how it's going to impact everyone. Normalize active transportation, so kind of shift some mindsets about active transportation and its place and its role in our communities, and support all season mobility, diversify active transportation, and take an inspiring and integrated approach. So the design guidelines, basically for the facility types, we've broken them into on-road facilities and off-road facilities. And if you want to go through the draft plan, there are more details provided for each type of facility. But I'll still go through each during the presentation. And then when we do get to the network session, you'll see that each of these are listed in the legend on the network map, and those correspond with the segments on the map, and the color aligns as well. So the first on-road facility is a shared route, which is shared by motorists and cyclists, suitable for lower volume, lower speed roads where space is limited. Signage can indicate bicycle usage, mark bike routes, or display share the road messages at route entrances. And this helps enhance cycling comfort, but also requires a reasonable level of experience. We also have paved shoulders, generally used on high traffic regional corridors. So corridors seeing about 1,000+ vehicles per day, and they're designed to improve cyclist safety and comfort. Allowing, both sides of the roads to be used, and they can also be used by pedestrians, so those walking or rolling as well. It's incredibly important, and you'll see this across all facility types, that they remain obstacle-free and are maintained. So, that debris is being cleared. They're being maintained in the winter, so snow is being cleared. They should be 1.2 to 1.8 meters wide based on traffic volume and speed, and costs vary depending on space and grading. We also have a bicycle lane and sidewalk as a potential on-road facility. So bicycle lanes provide dedicated space for cyclists, improving comfort and safety on high traffic roads. Again, also must remain obstacle-free and kept clear of snow and debris, and ideally be 1 meter wide, or at least 1 meter wide, ideally 1.75 meters wide, and marked with a bicycle stencil. Sidewalks should be a minimum of 1.8 meters wide, and can be added on one or both sides to support walking and rolling. Separated multi-use pathway is another on-road facility, and these provide a 3 meter wide shared route for cyclists and pedestrians within the road right-of-way. They are generally protected by a vegetative buffer, and they replace the need for both sidewalks and bike lanes. So it'd be one facility. They're suitable for a variety of users, including cyclists, pedestrians, and even cross-country skiers or snowshoers. If usage does increase, pathways should be widened up to 5 meters to allow dedicated lanes for pedestrians and cyclists to avoid, user conflict. For off-road facilities, we have a shared use pathway, which are designed for both non-motorized, so cyclists or pedestrian users, and motorized users, so ATVs and snowmobiles, um, and other off-highway vehicles or, motorized forms of transportation. And they should be at least 3 meters wide for safety and comfort of all users. And typically, they're surfaced with crusher dust or specialized materials. Gravel is not recommended for users with assistive devices. And we also have a multi-use pathway. So these are for non-motorized users, typically 3 meters wide, and surface materials could include asphalt, crusher dust, or other specialized materials. But again, paved pathways are generally more accessible for assistive devices, while gravel surfaces are not. And asphalt is preferred in high traffic or urban areas for durability and accessibility. We also have a recreational trail, which is narrower than the multi-use pathway we just looked at and accommodates a lower traffic volumes. It's suitable for pedestrians, cross-country skiers, and snowshoers. And the trail width must be at least 1.8 meters with a 0.6 meter clearance on both sides. And some sections may be wheelchair accessible depending on the grades. We also have a water trail, and this came from, a number of participants and residents recognizing that they would love to have better access to waterways. So water trails are marked routes on waterways such as rivers, lakes, and coastlines for non-motorized boats like canoes or kayaks. A well-developed system includes access points, takeouts, portage routes, signage, and possibly even campgrounds. Portage routes, when used properly, are interrupted, or when designed properly, are interrupted and require specific design to accommodate large boats and heavy cargo. And these routes should avoid steep slopes, wet areas, tripping hazards, and other potential safety concerns to ensure safety. So in addition to those facility types, those they won't be successful unless there are proper amenities to support them. So we've made recommendations for some of the following, and again in the draft plan there's a much more detailed overview of each. But if anyone does want to go into any of these in more detail at the end, we absolutely can. So we've recommended things like bicycle parking, sheltered bicycle parking, benches and seating, bike repair stations, water stations, and pedestrian-oriented lighting, as well as waste stations, pet waste stations, charging stations, and wayfinding signage. So, we want to make sure that people know where to go, what to expect, when they've made it to a destination, or maybe how far along they are. So wayfinding signage can look like a number of different things, and there will be, further recommendations included. We've also made recommendations for different intersection treatments. So curb extensions, accessible pedestrian signals, tactile walking surface indicators, leading pedestrian intervals. So, ways for the pedestrian or cyclist to maybe have a head start on motorists, and as well as cross rides. So the active transportation network itself, we've developed, as mentioned before, a regional and local network. So the regional network is kind of the spine of the active transportation network, kind of again looking at those longer segments or longer routes, and generally kind of connecting community to community and cross regionally. Whereas the local network is looking just at the town of Pictou itself. And as you can see on both, those facility types are included in the legend below and correspond with the map above and the routes above. So finally, education and programming, much like amenities, without them, the active transportation network is not nearly as strong. So again, you can find a much more detailed overview of each of these in the draft plan itself, but we've made different, general event and program based recommendations. So things like expanding the Gear Loan program or hosting, try it or learn to events for those who want to experience different types of active transportation, continuing and expanding all season recreation services, expanding community walking and cycling groups, and developing a Pictou waterfront and water trail experience. We've also looked at events and programs more specifically for schools and youth, so things like active school buses, and youth-specific active transportation events, as well as, bike-friendly business programs and other ways to partner with and collaborate with businesses to, support active transportation users and to ensure that, there's that mutually beneficial opportunity for businesses and the active transportation user. We also heard a lot about, having like an online hub where you can find all the information and resources you need, whether you're trying to figure out the ideal commute or, planning a bike trip. So we've heard a lot about a desire to see like an online platform that also includes a map that could be even interactive, like the one we currently have for engagement, where, anyone can share information on, somewhere that they stopped that was really lovely, or where they were able to use the washroom, or if there's somewhere that needs improvement. So that was one thing that we heard a lot about, as well as not just offering online resources, but looking at print resources too, including pocket maps, and then also just general ongoing promotion of active transportation opportunities and the benefits as well through social media campaigns and posters as well. So that kind of takes us to the final section, or I guess final part of this presentation, which is how to provide your feedback. Because as mentioned before, this is the time to ensure that this draft plan aligns with your vision for active transportation in your community. So there are a number of ways to do so. You can scan the QR code there to check out the project website, which is speakupland.ca slash active hyphen steps hyphen Pictou County. Sorry, I should have included it here, but that QR code will also work. And you can also email us and we'll send you a link. But yeah, you can leave a comment on the online map or see what other community members have been saying, and you can respond to those comments. You can complete the online feedback form. You can also just email us or call us. You can also email us to coordinate a time that you would like to chat over the phone. If you prefer to schedule those things. You can also attend an in-person public information session or office hours as well. And online feedback, the online platform will be open until Sunday, March 9th at midnight, and then it will close. And we recommend emailing or calling us also before that time. That would be great. So those are the different ways that you can provide feedback. And again, we're looking for feedback on anything from it could be a specific route or the transportation network or the amenities or programs, but also just the general flow of the document. Does it make sense to you? Would you find it easy to understand as a community member? Is it visually, does it make sense? Are you able to make everything out okay? So we're looking for anything from, the content to the design and layout. And we really appreciate any and all feedback that you're able to provide. And at the end of this engagement phase and a few weeks after closing the engagement, we will be sharing an engagement summary report. And that is a way to ensure that all feedback is documented and shared publicly so that you can see what you shared represented, and then also to see what other members of the community shared. And that's a way to ensure that the final draft plan does represent that feedback. So definitely look out for that as well. And if you do go to the project website, you can sign up for project updates, which we will ensure that we share that report when it's available with anyone who has signed up. So that's everything from me. Again, you can scan the QR code if you would like to share feedback that way, or you can stick around to have a discussion or ask questions now. And thank you again for listening.